Hi parents of graphic design and animation students. This is my quick presentation on the graphic design and animation semester 1 class that your child is taking. My name is Tony Campbell. I am the art department coordinator for the district. I'm a yearbook advisor, I'm a squash and tennis coach, and I teach a lot of sections of digital art here at the school. This graphic design and animation class, it's actually called Studio and Graphic Design and Animation. It is a half-credit studio art class that will fulfill 1/2 of the full credit in the arts that students need to take while they're in high school. It's a great group so far. One of the fun things about the way we've designed our 1-semester studio sections here at the school is they're open to all grade levels. So in this class, there's a pretty even mix of 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders in the room, which is a nice experience, especially for the young students coming from middle school to now be in class with students of different ages. So the goal of the class, kind of the main function of the class, is to introduce the Adobe Photoshop program to all the students. Most of the kids in the class had a pretty easy time downloading Photoshop onto their laptops, and things are running pretty smoothly in here. We also have some laptop devices in the classroom that have Photoshop on it, so everyone, if their laptop is out of juice or they don't have Photoshop on there, everybody's able to work in here. We'll learn the Adobe Photoshop program through a series of art and graphic design projects for about the first 2/3 of the class, and then leverage that knowledge and skill and understanding of the program to start to create some animations towards the end. There's a constant sort of push and pull in here of what is digital and what is handmade, and the blending of the two, and using the Photoshop program to create some real-world graphic design projects where we're integrating source images and real-world products into the program. Myself, in my studio practice, I'm trained as a classical painter, but I do a lot of Photoshop work to work up studies for the things that I do on wood and with paint. So I have a quick PowerPoint here to go through, which will give us kind of the basics of what we're doing in here. At the beginning of the class, we do a series of pieces. Everybody in this class has a piece up in the hallway right now. I encourage you, while you're in the building tonight, to walk by the displayway by room 150 and see the first pass of the graphic design piece that everyone in here has done. I think everyone's up there. But we do kind of review of the elements of art and principles of design. And that gives us kind of a quick course in the basics of how to use Photoshop, kind of the core principles of Photoshop that make it so that you can bring an image in, use text, change colors, manipulate layers. That gets everybody pretty far, and it gives us a little background on how to use the elements of art and principles of design in design. The software and the computer helps with design, but it doesn't make us good designers. So we gotta understand art concepts to be able to really do that work. Then we do kind of a deep dive into font. A big part of graphic design is font and font choice. And they do a piece where they take a quote and present it, really just changing font and scale and color, and see how that influences meaning. Then they'll do a few different versions of a poster or a flyer for an event, either real, imagined, historical. It's really up to whoever's working on it. Then we play around with photo manipulation and media, and they'll do a satire of a media piece. This was a newspaper article about a giant dog at a lake. That obviously wasn't real. And then to dive into how you can manipulate over a photograph as a source image to create designs. And we get into both selection tools and vector tools to develop that in a landscape. And then in a portrait style, looking at the work of Shepard Fairey, who was a street artist who had designed the Hope poster that influenced an election years ago. So with that work of understanding how to use vector graphics and work over real life objects, students will create product renderings, which they can then turn into a logo. And the final graphic design project is to create a business logo, and then Photoshop that logo into some settings where the logo would be used. And that closes our graphic design portion. And having gone through that, all the students will have enough knowledge in Photoshop to then start their animations. So we start with classical animations, where they're literally drawing every slide and then spinning them together in Photoshop. Here's a couple from last year. Understanding individual layers. Then we play also with stop motion animation. These aren't loading so quickly. These guys here, they played around with doing creating a set and doing a stop motion animation with Legos. I have another one here. These guys used real images that they shot in the hallway and figured out how they could kind of string that together to create something unreal. And then you can do all of the above. In a digital animation where there's a photograph involved, and there's also just the graphic movements that we can make with Photoshop. Really, I love to, at that point in the year, really leave it up to the students to choose which of those animation media they kind of gravitate towards the most. Do they want to use the stop motion, or do they want to use the graphics in Photoshop, or do they want to get their hands on real drawing materials? And we've got we have 2 rooms here, and the 2 rooms turn into an animation studio. And we have a little film festival at the end of the class, which is a lot of fun. So that's pretty much it. You get to leave school early tonight, beat the traffic. So I'm sorry I couldn't meet you. I had a family commitment that predated the back to school night scheduling that I had to run out for. So if you have any questions, email me anytime. Again, I'm really looking forward to the semester. We got a great group in here right off the bat. Our critiques have been lovely. The kids are really excited about what they're learning, and I'm looking forward to the semester. Thanks.